Trains are an amazing way to travel to and from work or school. Sometimes, though, when someone gets on the train to get to their place of work or school, they disappear and are never seen again. Today, we count down 4 unsolved and creepy train mysteries. Number 4. The Sunset Limited Derailment. On October the 9th, 1995, an Amtrak passenger train known as the Sunset Limited was making a routine trip from Los Angeles to Miami. At approximately 1:40 a.m., it was crossing over a trestle in a remote desert area of Arizona when it suddenly jumped the tracks and derailed, sending 4 of its cars crashing 9 meters into a ravine. An attendant named Mitchell Bates was killed in the crash and over 100 people were injured. It quickly became clear that the derailment was a deliberate act of sabotage. 29 spikes had been removed from the tracks so that the rails could be shifted out of position. The perpetrator was careful to keep the rail's signal circuits intact so that the train would not be alerted about any problems with the track. This suggested that whoever was responsible had an intimate knowledge of railroads. In fact, the method used to derail the Sunset Limited was very similar to an act of sabotage from 1939, which caused the passenger train called the City of San Francisco to derail in the Nevada desert, killing 24 people. An article about the City of San Francisco crash had been published in a train journal shortly before the Sunset Limited derailment, and may have inspired the perpetrator. At the crash site, investigators found 4 typewritten copies of a note claiming responsibility for the attack. The notes were signed "Sons of Gestapo" and criticized controversial incidents involving the ATF and FBI, such as the Ruby Ridge siege of 1992 and the Waco siege of 1993. However, investigators have yet to uncover any evidence supporting the actual existence of a group known as Sons of Gestapo. The perpetrator remains unidentified. Number 3. The murder of Rashawn Brazeau. On the morning of February 14, 2015, 19-year-old Brooklyn resident Rashawn Brazeau failed to show up for any of his scheduled appointments. Witnesses would later report seeing Rashawn outside his apartment at approximately 7:30 a.m. after an unidentified man rang the buzzer. Rashawn was seen entering the Gates Avenue subway station with the man. There were also unconfirmed sightings of the 2 men at the Nostrand Avenue station later that day. In the early morning hours of February 17th, transit workers at the Nostrand station found 2 bags next to the subway tracks. One of them contained some tools and bloody drill bits. The other contained some of the dismembered remains of Rashawn Brazeau. Over the next few days, more of Rashawn's body parts would be discovered in trash bags at a local recycling plant. His head was never found. A medical examination concluded that Rashawn was likely alive for 2 days following his disappearance, so he may have undergone torture before his death. Since Rashawn was known to be a homosexual, there was some speculation that his murder was a hate crime, but no evidence could be found to support this theory. However, there was one intriguing clue in the form of the bag containing the bloody drill bits, which was a type sold exclusively to employees of the Metropolitan Transit Authority. Since Rashawn's remains were discovered in an area of the subway station usually only frequented by employees, it's been theorized that the killer might be a transit worker. It is unknown if Rashawn's killer is the same man seen with him outside his apartment, and an investigation has so far failed to turn up any solid suspects. Number 2. Disappearance of Martin Allen. On the afternoon of November the 5th, 1979, 15-year-old Martin Allen finished school and spent some time hanging around London's King's Cross station with his friends, before eventually hopping on a train home. He never arrived and was soon reported missing. A witness later recalled seeing a nervous-looking boy resembling Martin in the company of an unidentified man at Gloucester Road Station that same day. The man was holding the boy's shoulder and warning him not to run away. Over the years, there have been many strange developments in this case. In 1998, a shrine of Martin Allen was found inside the home of an alleged pedophile. This person matched the description of the man last seen with Martin, but authorities could not connect him to the disappearance. Martin's family believed there was a massive cover-up surrounding his case. In recent years, they were informed that files and evidence related to Martin's disappearance were destroyed in a flood, and that a police officer inexplicably took some other files with him when he retired and moved to Spain. It has been speculated that Martin's disappearance may be connected to a scandal involving an organized pedophile ring in which children were allegedly delivered to high-profile figures at a brothel known as the Elm Guest House during the 1970s and 1980s. One anonymous witness came forward to claim he was a victim of the ring and had been molested by an MP during his childhood. He also claims to have personally witnessed the murder of 3 other boys, one of them who may have been Martin. In spite of these allegations, Martin Allen's disappearance remains unsolved. Number 1. Disappearance of Robin Putnam. In 2012, Robin Putnam was a 25-year-old student at the California College of the Arts in Oakland. On July the 7th, Robin boarded an Amtrak train for a trip to see his family in Grand Junction, Colorado. At approximately 3 a.m., the train made a scheduled stop in Salt Lake City, where it remained for 25 minutes before completing the journey to Grand Junction. But when the train arrived, Robin Putnam was no longer on it. All of his belongings, including his wallet, journal, and laptop, were still in his seat, but Robin himself was nowhere to be found. It's likely that Robin got off the train during the stop in Salt Lake City, but no one knows what happened to him afterward. Before his trip, Robin had been displaying bizarre, erratic behavior and suffering anxiety attacks, which forced him to quit his job at a coffee shop. He had apparently not slept in several days. On one occasion, he awoke from a terrible nightmare and seemed to have trouble telling his dreams from reality. Even though Robin didn't display any strange behavior while on the train, it's theorized that he may have become disorientated when they arrived in Salt Lake City. There have been many unconfirmed sightings of Robin in the area, and 2 months after his disappearance, a man matching his description was seen in a security video at a Salt Lake City restaurant drinking a beer with an unidentified woman. However, in 2015, his remains were found in train tracks in a remote area of Nevada. So that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching, and make sure to tune in tomorrow for another brand new episode.